Hey guys, welcome. Let's dive into the fascinating world of the Thunderbolts, Marvel's most intriguing and complex team yet. This lineup of characters brings a fresh and gritty dynamic to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're far from your typical heroes. Each member has faced challenging pasts, moral ambiguity, and personal struggles that shape who they are today. If you're eager to uncover everything about Marvel's MCU Thunderbolts, you're in the right place. Stick around for the ultimate guide to their secrets, stories, and what makes this team truly unique. Ready to jump in? Let's get started. Yelena Bova, portrayed by Florence Pugh, is a highly trained assassin and product of the Red Room, a covert Soviet program infamous for creating deadly Black Widows, including Natasha Romanoff. Introduced in Black Widow 2021, Yelena experienced a rare period of happiness with Natasha as part of an undercover family before being forcibly returned to her life of espionage and combat training. Reuniting with Natasha as adults, Yelena helps dismantle the Red Room's operations, freeing the other mind-controlled widows and breaking free from her manipulated past. In the comics, Yelena initially saw herself as Natasha Romanoff's rival rather than her ally, driven by her desire to surpass Natasha as a measure of success. This rivalry was eventually replaced by a mutual respect as Yelena recognized their shared trauma and survival. Her evolution from rival to sister hints at her MCU journey, where she honors Natasha's legacy, yet seeks to establish her own. Yelena's sharp wit, fierce independence, and resilient spirit add a unique dynamic to her character, creating a balance between assassin instincts and growing empathy. Following Natasha's sacrifice in Avengers Endgame, Yelena wrestles with grief and her own identity, ultimately refusing to be defined by revenge alone. Manipulated by Valentina Allegra de Fontaine into blaming Clint Barton for Natasha's death, Yelena chooses her own path after a confrontation with him in Hawkeye. Now a skilled and resilient fighter, she's a blend of determination and deep vulnerability, making her both a fierce warrior and a relatable figure. As part of the Thunderbolts, Yelena's quest for purpose beyond revenge or duty could lead her to a transformative role, balancing her assassin roots with newfound empathy and purpose. Sebastian Stan brings to life Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, a man whose tragic history and complex psyche make him one of the MCU's most fascinating characters. Introduced in Captain America, the first Avenger, Bucky was a loyal friend to Steve Rogers before being presumed dead during World War II. Captured and brainwashed by Hydra, he was transformed into the Winter Soldier, an elite assassin used in covert operations for decades, responsible for unspeakable acts under mind control. Bucky's path to redemption begins when he breaks free from Hydra's control and is forced to confront the horrors he committed under their influence. Beyond the MCU, his comic journey reveals an even deeper struggle with the trauma of his actions, fearing he may never fully atone. His connection to Steve Rogers, his only true anchor, left him adrift when Steve passed. His recent arc in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier shows him grappling with guilt and a desire to make amends, cementing his transformation from weapon to hero. Now, joining the Thunderbolts, Bucky may find an outlet for his skills, though his distrust of authority and reluctance to bond with new allies may complicate team dynamics. Bucky's arc in the Thunderbolts won't just be about redemption. It could involve rebuilding connections, establishing a new sense of belonging, and finally coming to terms with his own worth. A weary soldier still haunted by the past, Bucky may not just be fighting for justice, but for a place where he can truly start anew. David Harbour portrays Alexei Shostakov, the Red Guardian, a once proud Soviet superhero created as Russia's answer to Captain America. Alexei served as a father figure during an undercover mission in the US, forming bonds with young Natasha and Yelena that, while imperfect, provided them with a semblance of family. By the time we meet him in Black Widow, He's a washed-up, disillusioned former hero whose boisterous tales of fighting Captain America offer both comic relief and a glimpse into his complex, unfulfilled identity. In the comics, Alexei Shostakov was one of the Soviet Union's top pilots before becoming the Red Guardian. This transformation isolated him from loved ones, particularly Natasha, leaving him emotionally detached and nostalgic for his past glory. His MCU portrayal adds a tragic dimension to his character, a man left behind by his country and history, yearning for relevance. While he's often the source of humor, his need to prove himself reveals a vulnerability beneath the bravado, making him a sympathetic yet flawed figure. As he steps into a new role with the Thunderbolts, Alexei's yearning for heroism and desire to live up to his own legend could complicate team dynamics, but it could also provide him with a fresh start. Faced with modern ideals and younger heroes, he may grapple with his outdated worldview and ego. His arc may be one of reconciling the hero he thought he was with the reality of who he has become, a journey that could bring out both his courage and his vulnerabilities. Wyatt Russell takes on the role of John Walker, a decorated U.S. Army captain chosen to succeed Steve Rogers as the new Captain America in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Walker's patriotic fervor and strong sense of duty are met with personal insecurities and a volatile temper, which culminates in his tragic killing of a man in a moment of rage. This act, captured publicly, costs him the title of Captain America, exposing the dangers of seeking validation without personal balance. In the comics, John Walker's journey is similarly tumultuous, where he moves from idealistic patriot to conflicted anti-hero under the moniker U.S. Agent. Unlike Steve Rogers, Walker often wrestles with a dark, self-destructive side, making him a character who straddles the line between heroism and villainy. His MCU counterpart mirrors this, depicting a man haunted by his failures, yet desperate to prove himself. When Valentina offers him a new title, Walker takes it as a second chance to redefine his legacy outside the shadow of Steve Rogers. Joining the Thunderbolts may give Walker a new avenue to channel his dedication, though his quick temper and need for validation remain potential pitfalls. His arc in the Thunderbolts could explore whether he can truly be a force for good, or if he's destined to remain a cautionary tale of what happens when heroism lacks self-awareness. The tension he brings to the team could lead to conflict, but may also push him toward growth and a true sense of self. Olga Kurylenko portrays Antonia Drof, known as Taskmaster, in Black Widow. As the daughter of General Drof, she was used as a pawn in her father's ruthless agenda, subjected to mind control and enhanced with the ability to mimic any fighting style she sees, including that of the Avengers. This forced ability made her a dangerous and versatile fighter, but it robbed her of autonomy and personal agency, leaving deep psychological scars. In Marvel Comics, Taskmaster is traditionally Tony Masters, a mercenary with photographic reflexes, able to copy any combat style. By reinventing Taskmaster as Antonia, the MCU added a more personal layer to the character, focusing on her as a victim rather than a villain. Freed from Dreykov's manipulation, Antonia's journey is now about regaining her identity, reclaiming control, and finding a sense of purpose outside of being a weapon. Her involvement with the Thunderbolts could provide her with the resources and support needed to rebuild her life, using her combat skills to forge her own path. As she learns to define herself beyond her forced skills, she may become an empowering figure within the team. Antonia's arc could evolve into one of self-discovery, challenging her to redefine her talents as her own, rather than the remnants of her father's control. Hannah John Kamen brings Ava Star, known as Ghost, to life in Ant-Man and the Wasp, 2018. A tragic accident that killed her parents left Ava with molecular instability, allowing her to phase through objects but causing constant pain. Isolated and desperate for a cure, She was driven to extremes, even targeting Janet Van Dyne in a failed attempt to stabilize herself. Her life of suffering and loss has made her a solitary figure, suspicious of others and wary of authority. In the comics, Ghost was originally a corporate saboteur who used phasing abilities to disrupt organizations, but the MCU reimagines her as Ava Star, whose instability isn't just physical, but emotional as well. She is haunted by distrust and bitterness, traits that alienate her from society. Her molecular abilities, while powerful, come at a steep price, making her feel both gifted and cursed. Her need for acceptance and stability could be partially met by joining the Thunderbolts, where she may find purpose. Ava's story in the Thunderbolts may explore loyalty, belonging, and whether or not she can trust others after years of isolation. Her tragic, painful life makes her relatable, but also vulnerable to manipulation. The team dynamic could force her to confront these inner demons, and finding a cure or stability may become a subplot as she navigates her role in this unorthodox team. Julia Louis-Dreyfus portrays Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, a high-ranking government official with ambiguous intentions, making her debut in The Falcon and The Winter Soldier and reappearing in Black Widow, 2021. Valentina is a master of manipulation and strategy, quietly orchestrating her own team and weaving a web of alliances. With her connections to powerful individuals and her access to sensitive intelligence, she's a shadowy figure, hinting at possible motives beyond mere patriotism. In Marvel Comics, Valentina is no stranger to covert operations and intrigue. Often associated with espionage groups like SHIELD and even Hydra, she's a master of strategy with morally flexible motives. The MCU's version remains shrouded in mystery, quietly assembling a team with hidden motives. Her recruitment of individuals like Walker and Yelena hints at her preference for operatives with dark histories, perhaps because they're easier to control or because she sees value in their moral complexity. Her motives for the Thunderbolts are unclear. Whether they're government-sanctioned or part of a larger agenda remains unknown. As the team forms under her guidance, Valentina's true intentions could slowly unravel, revealing whether she's a benefactor, a puppet master, or something more sinister. Her role may add an ongoing suspense to the MCU, especially if she has goals that clash with the Avengers. These characters' intricate stories, struggles, and connections offer a more nuanced take on heroism. Together, they are bound to create a fascinating dynamic, a team grappling with inner demons, loyalty issues, and the quest for redemption. Each member holds the potential to evolve, clash, or even betray, making the Thunderbolts a team worth watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like, share, and subscribe for more insights into Marvel's expanding universe.